Hey everybody, it's Erica Eller, and today I'm doing something a little bit different because I realized as we are going through the Love Your Life month, I realized that one of the things keeping my clients from truly loving their life is they feel frustrated at the idea of meal planning and prepping and planning ahead so that they're eating healthy meals. So I wanted to go through a bit of my process, and it hasn't always been this way. There's been a lot of trial and error, but this is what I've been doing most recently. And I am loving it. And it's really cutting down on my time. I'm using this tool called Trello. If you are not using Trello, I highly recommend it because it has become a big piece of my time management and implementation strategy when setting goals and creating the activities for those goals. So, for example, we're going to just hop over here and we're going to take a look at all of my boards that I have. So, as you can see, I have quite a few that are specific to my business, and I have all the different months. I have the years for the business goals. Have everything set up that way, and then I break things down by month. So this just really keeps me focused, and I know what's coming up. I know what to focus on, but it's also been huge for me in my meal planning. And so one thing that I typically do is I set aside some time on either Saturday or Sunday. Sundays usually seem to work the best for this, but I like to figure out what we're going to eat for the upcoming week. And I like to have dinner and breakfast options. Dinner is probably the most important. Breakfast, we tend to keep some quick things here, like we've made breakfast burritos ahead of time, or, the kids just grab a bowl of cereal, or I do a smoothie every morning. That's typically what I do, but I do sometimes like to plan ahead and make breakfast for at least a couple of days. So sometimes that looks like egg cups or an egg casserole type of thing, or protein pancakes. I've done that in bulk before, but this allows me to see everything at a glance. So I have it separated. Now lunch, different because I typically try and make enough dinner so that we have leftovers for lunch. So my husband will take that and I'll eat that the next day. And then the kids, they usually, sometimes they'll take leftovers for lunch, but they typically like stuff that's pretty quick and kid-friendly, like a sandwich or something like that. And believe it or not, they like to make salads a lot. So that's interesting, but it's really great because they're getting some actual like really good food in them at lunchtime. So what I really focus on is going to be dinner. Breakfast, sometimes I do it and sometimes I don't. So today, just for time's sake, we're going to focus on dinner, and I'm going to show you how I create a grocery list. You can definitely utilize this board however you want. You can make it your own. What I love about Trello is that it is really customizable. Like, for example, you can change this background picture. If you click on this show menu link, it will say change background, and you can select colors and choose from one of these colors, or you can select photos. And so these are all free photos that are available. And what I did was I just searched for food and then came up with my my photo. So you can definitely change that around however you like it. And I actually really like this photo here, so I'm gonna change it. So you can do that. You can customize that. But what you have, so this overall, this meal planning, this is called a board. And so within your board, you have different lists. And each of these things are a list. And you can add another list by simply just typing in a title here for that. And so we're just going to call this, snacks. Oops. You hit enter and there it is. And then within each list, you have cards. So if I wanted to create, so let's say like those energy bites, I could put that in there. What's another snacky thing that we do? We don't really do a whole lot of snacks. I'll just say protein bars. So you get the point. You just type in the title for your card and you can go from there. So I've already started with my meal planning for dinner. And so one of the things that you can do is, obviously, you can have some recipes that you've gathered from, Pinterest, online. If you have a recipe, and I'll get into this a little bit later, but if you have a recipe that's coming from a recipe book, it's going to be a little bit longer of a process, but you can do it. It's totally doable. So for example, I have selected for one of the dinners is lemon garlic dump chicken. So I created a card the way that I showed you here for snacks, and you get this, when you click on it, you get this menu right here. So it tells you what the name of the card is. Now, what I was able to do, so you have a description, you can put attachments in there, and you can create checklists. So this is the recipe right here. This is the website, One Good Thing by Jilly. And so I really liked the simplicity of this lemon garlic dump chicken. I have gone in and I've already added the ingredients, and you can see that I've added the description, and I've also added the actual link. So this is really helpful because you have everything in one place. I don't know about you guys, but I have my boards on Pinterest, but it's really hard to find what I need. So I'll just put everything in like a menu planning board, or, I'll have something that will be clean eating or dairy-free, gluten-free, but then I'm searching for it when it's time to make the meal. So this is something that I've basically come up with that allows me to have everything all in one place. So I have the link here. If when I'm cooking it, I have a question, or maybe there's a video that's attached to it that I want to see, I can click on that right there while I'm cooking it. And then I have the ingredient list, so I know exactly what I need to do. Now I can look at this right now, and I can see what I already have in my kitchen. And I mean, just looking at this is a super basic recipe, which is why I love it. Those are like my favorite meals, because I don't like to spend a lot of time in the kitchen. That's just not, that's not my love language. I wish it was, because I have friends that just do amazing things in the kitchen, and I wish I was, but that's not my thing. I really like to be kind of in and out. But at the same time, it's really important that I am creating some menus that are healthy and that I know ahead of time can be planned and prepped, either ahead of time, or I can be thinking about it, earlier in the week and know what's coming up, and it's all in one place. The other really cool thing about Trello that I love is there is an app, and it's totally free. There is a paid option as well for more customization, but I use Trello a lot, and I haven't found a reason to have a paid subscription to it. I feel like it does what I need it to do that makes sense to me and my brain as as the free option. So you can have the app, which makes it really, really handy when you are at the grocery store and pulling up your list. So that's something for you to be thinking about. So like I mentioned, I already went ahead and created this as one of my meals for the week, the lemon garlic dump chicken, and I've done everything. So I've added the description, the attachment, and the ingredients. So now I'm going to show you how I did that with this recipe here. Another chicken recipe. We eat a lot of chicken here. So this chicken zoodle soup is another example of a meal that I have created, and I've already done everything there for that. But let's go ahead and start from scratch by adding something different. So I have a couple of meals for you to see how my process is. So the first one is this slow cooker pork roast with apples, carrots, and rosemary. So that sounded really yummy and great for kind of this colder weather. And when I say colder, I'm here in Arizona, and so what seems like it's freezing to me would be, a lovely warm day like in the Midwest or out east. So I'm sorry if you guys are like, whatever, you don't know cold. So here is my slow cooker pork roast with apples, carrots, and rosemary. So now I want to actually copy that whole name, and I want to create a checklist for the recipe, and I want to call it the exact same thing, and you'll see why in just a little bit. So we hit add, and you can see there it is. There's the checklist. What you can do for the ingredients is actually super, super cool. So we go down here and we just copy and then go here to the board and paste. So you can see it's got everything down line by line. You click add and look at that. Oh my gosh, that is like the most fun thing for me to watch ever. I need some more hobbies apparently. But so there you have your list all set for you. And so like I mentioned, you can either go through and see what you have already, and you can take it off, and you can say, like, okay, I know I have salt, I know I have onion, I know I have pepper, and then you can say hide completed items. And so then you don't have like this big mess. And so you can do it that way, or I'm gonna go ahead and uncheck them. Or I'm gonna show you how to just leave it and do it another way. So now I want the description here, which is basically just the instructions on what to do. So, oops. So I'm just gonna copy and paste, and then if you want to have kind of a little bit of separation between each lines to make it easier, you can just hit enter and create that space, hit save, and it's all there. And then I had mentioned clicking attachment so that you can have the link. Just click attach and it's there. Boom. So we'll do it again. So you can see that was a pretty quick process. So the next one that I have is sweet potato and black bean quinoa bowls. So we're gonna do a vegetarian meal as well. Hit enter, same process. Go to your checklist, hit paste, hit add, go here. And this is super quick, guys. Oh, look at these pretty pictures. Aren't they amazing? Okay, so here's your ingredients. And this one is really cool because she has it broken down by the type of item that's in the recipe. So for the sauce, for the sweet potatoes, which is really cool. So since she did break that up, and that's really awesome when you're looking at it like this because it's all split up, but when you're looking at it here, well, now it's got roasted sweet potato as a line item, but then you see this as one large sweet potato peeled and diced. So you don't need it twice. So we'll just go ahead and click on the separation pieces, and we're going to hide those. So all we have are just the items needed. And I think, okay, yeah, so there is a quarter cup cilantro chopped and then cilantro for garnishing. You can leave that or not. I'm going to take it out because, if I need a quarter cup of cilantro here or 2 tablespoons. Oh, see, yeah, there's a few different things. I'm going to take out the tablespoons because if I'm going to get enough for a quarter cup, I'm going to get, probably a whole bunch because that's just the way that it comes. And if I have another recipe, I might have more. So I don't need to have multiple items, line items within the same recipe, splitting up the cilantro in different ways, if that makes sense. So now we are going to go back to the description, which is right here. And so it looks like this is all split up as well too. So this is a multi-step thing. And it looks really difficult like, when you look at it. And I kind of was like, wow, that's a lot of steps. But then I realized, okay, like it's really not that long, especially if you're like just roasting a potato, like that isn't, a huge process. So there you go. So we'll just kind of put that there like that. And then the final piece is we're going to go to the attachment and put the link in there so that we have that right there. And then hit attach so that that's all set. Now, what you can do is you can designate, you could create another board, for each day if you wanted to, or you could just assign, next to the title. You guys, my dogs are insane. So you could just assign a day, so like you could go here into lemon garlic dump chicken and put Monday if you wanted to do it that way. Or again, like I said, if you want to create a list for each day of the week, you can. I actually I have the dinner and then I will put next to it what day of the week it's going to be. And that's just, for me to keep it as simple as possible. So I have, like I mentioned, I have a breakfast and I have my kitchen plan, snacks. So with my kitchen plan, it's basically all of my grocery lists here. So when I have pantry and produce and cold. So and I've started this. So my produce and cold, those are just basic like staple items. So almond milk is something that I always have on hand. Eggs, I always have sliced deli meat, cheese sticks. I was gonna say string cheese, but they don't really like string cheese. They like the Colby sticks. Greek yogurt. My son and my husband really like that. And you guys can hear my dog going to town on his water bowl right now. Like nobody is near me when I'm not recording. As soon as I do this, then they are barking and sneezing and lapping up water like they haven't had water in 4 weeks. So anyway, so this is just kind of an item, and I do produce with that as well. So one of my staples is, what is wrong with my typing today? Spinach and berries and onions and mushrooms and what else? I don't know. I'll say sweet potato because I know that that's on the list too, and I do typically have a sweet potato on hand. So that's what you can do there. So now for my grocery, and then let's go to pantry. What are kind of some basic items here with this checklist? And again, you're making it the same name as the list. And I'll just say cereal and pretzels. I don't know why I can't think of anything that we have they like crackers. Oh, canned tuna. Okay, so those are kind of some basic pantry items there. So now, and let me just make sure. Yes, okay. I wanted to make sure I made that the same as the list, that I made my checklist the same name as the list, because that's super important. I'm going to show you why right now. So we go to our grocery list, and we want to go to copy. Whoops. No, sorry. We're creating another checklist because this is our grocery list. So we're going to call it grocery list. And we're going to copy items from all of these things. So we've gone ahead and we've done chicken zoodle soup. We'll hit add, boom. Everything is right there. And then we'll do it again. And we will copy items from lemon garlic dump chicken. There it is. And, oh, and my mistake here. We want this to be the lemon. Oh, I messed up. Let's delete this so that you can see how it's supposed to be. Checklist, copy items from chicken zoodle soup. There you go. That's accurate. And then you can go and what's our final? Let's see, we've got this. And we've got this. And then we want our pantry items, because those are kind of your staples. And then we want our produce and cold items. So with this, you've got a pretty comprehensive list, but you can go through and see what it is that you need. And one of the frustrating things is that maybe you forgot something on the list. Well, this helps you not do that. So because you have everything all in one place. So like I can go through and say, okay, I have enough almond milk. I do still need eggs. If my kids aren't with me for the week because they're with their dad, then I might not need the sliced deli meat and I might not need the cheese sticks. So I can go ahead and pull that off. And same thing here for cereal and pretzels. Maybe I still want the crackers and maybe I still want the canned tuna. But then you're going through each of these items and you are, so we're having to take that out. And we're going to hide those completed items. And we're going to hide the completed items and hide these completed items. So this just makes it really easy for you to see what you need. And if that's like a pantry item that you always have on hand, you can just check that off. But what you've done is you have created a grocery list super quick for everything that you need. You didn't have to write it down. I did mention if you are getting a recipe that's coming from a recipe book, or it's one of those that's been written down and on an index card or something like that, or someone has printed something out for you, then you could do this same thing. You're just typing in each of these items. So rather than copying and pasting, you're typing in the directions on how to cook it. You won't have a link, and then you're typing in the ingredients for it. It takes a little bit more time, but you can do it, and it's super easy. So that is my method right there for meal planning. Again, you can customize this. You can make it yours. If you are someone that you only have, a few days of the week, or you want to add more to your grocery list, staple items like toilet paper and paper towels and cleaning supplies, that type of thing. You could add that as part of your I call this my kitchen plan, and I keep it that way simply because I order everything else, or we do Costco for that. But more often than not, I have just been ordering everything like through Amazon, because I don't necessarily like to be shopping. You can make this however you want. I am going to make this board, or I have made this board public, so you can actually copy and paste this. You can get the link and you can make this your board. So then what you would do, here it is. Okay. My goodness, it's been a long day. You can go in and you can copy board. Here it is. Da, 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 da. So you can copy the board, and basically that creates it for you. So it's exactly like mine. You're keeping the element of how I've set it up, but you can make changes to it how you want to. So that way you just always have that as like your base, and then you can, just kind of use that and then create something totally different for yourself. But I am going to give you the link down below so that you have that, and hopefully this takes that burden off of you where, oh my gosh, like I have to like figure this all out. I have to have everything, organized, and, shoot, where was that recipe at that I was going to make? And I forgot this ingredient. So now this, has to wait. Right here, everything is in one spot, your ingredients, the directions, and the link to the actual recipe. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. And I would love to hear if you have tried it. I'd even love to see, maybe tag me on Instagram with your pictures of your meal planning board and how you made that work for you. So here is to loving your life by making meal planning super easy. And until next time, I wish you whole health, whole love, and whole success. Bye, friends.